The story of Albert Einstein, the curious genius. Once upon a time, in a small town in Germany, a baby boy named Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879. From the very start, Albert was a little different. He didn't speak until he was 3 years old, and even when he did, he took his time with his words. People around him thought he might not be very clever. But Albert was just a dreamer, thinking about big things that no one else was. As a young boy, Albert was always asking questions. He would look at the stars and wonder, what's out there in the sky? He would sit for hours, thinking about things like the compass his father gave him. The needle of the compass always pointed north, and Albert thought, why does it do that? His mind was full of questions like this, and that's what would make him special. When Albert went to school, he didn't fit in well. The teachers were strict, and he didn't like the way they taught. He didn't just want to memorize facts, he wanted to understand why things worked the way they did. So, instead of following the rules, Albert spent his time reading books and teaching himself new things, especially about math and science. Even though he didn't always do well in school, Albert was determined to learn. He went to university, studied hard, and became a scientist. But life wasn't easy for him. After finishing his studies, he couldn't find a job as a teacher. So, Albert took a job in a small office, reviewing inventions. But even while working there, he didn't stop thinking. He kept dreaming up big ideas. Then, in 1905, something incredible happened. Albert wrote for papers that changed everything. One of those papers introduced the world to his famous theory of relativity. He showed that space and time were connected in ways that no one had ever imagined. And the world was amazed when he shared his famous equation, E equals mc squared. This simple equation told everyone that energy and matter were two sides of the same thing. It was a discovery that no one could have predicted. But Albert didn't stop there. He also worked on the photoelectric effect, explaining how light could turn into electricity. This work earned him the Nobel Prize in 1921. Albert's discoveries didn't just change science, they changed the world. Now, despite all of his success, Albert never thought of himself as a genius. He always said, I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. That's what made him so special, his curiosity. Albert never stopped asking questions, and that curiosity led him to discoveries that changed everything. As Albert got older, he became more than just a scientist. He became a voice for peace and justice. After the horrors of World War II, he spoke out against nuclear weapons, urging world leaders to choose peace. He also fought for civil rights and equality, believing that everyone should be treated fairly. Albert Einstein passed away in 1955, but his legacy lived on. His ideas continue to shape the way we understand the universe. And more than that, his story reminds us that curiosity is powerful. If you ask enough questions and never stop learning, you too can change the world. And that, my friends, is the story of Albert Einstein, the curious boy who became one of the greatest minds the world has ever known.